welcome to my first ever video with rank 4 Thing. I'm really looking forward to this because I just love this guy so much. Like, I was playing with him in War and just testing him everywhere, and he's just so much fun to play. I'm going to start off with the War gameplay because I didn't post a War video today because two of my recordings failed. They were both Overseer fights, so I was like, okay, I'm just not going to do a War video, and I'm just going to make this the War video pretty much. So yeah, this first section is going to be my War video because it's mainly just Thing fights, right? So we have this Path 4 section to Terrax, who is pretty annoying because there's a heal block node, so you can't heal up after you take the rock field damage, which makes this fight a lot more stressful. Additionally, there's also steady build-up unblockable, and Terrax has a lot of armor breaks on the rock field, so he will go unblockable very often, but thankfully Thing is armor break immune, right? So we won't see that unblockable in the fight. So overall, this fight is pretty good for Thing. You just need to make sure that you are minimizing the rock field damage by utilizing your protection. My Thing is 1600, so he will minimize a lot of the damage, but additionally we are Subdue, right? So Subdue is you inflict neutralize on your basic attacks and you inflict the fate steal on your special attacks, and that helps counter Terrax because he's planetary endurance, and what that is every time he hits our block, he gets a flourish buff. So Thing just counters this guy in every single way pretty much. He is tactic, he has armor break immunity, he has protection to help mitigate the rock field damage. He is just perfect for this fight. So yeah, I was very confident in this fight because Thing is just perfect for it, right? And he's doing pretty good so far. We are just minimizing that rock field damage. We are just playing it slow. Thing isn't the most damaging character. He isn't the best damage dealer out there, especially without synergies, but he's still getting the job done pretty fast. It's only been about a minute and a half, and we're about to end the fight here. With one SB2 should be enough if it does crit anyways. So yeah, it's looking pretty good so far. Rockfield is now over, so I dropped the SB2, and we get a pretty nice crit, man, for over 40,000 damage, and that just ends the fight, which is pretty impressive overall. Now this fight is super goofy, man. This is Ebb and Flow Intercept Longshot, and this fight is so goofy because Thing just counters it perfectly, and his intercepts are so fun to do because you can just tank the hit and then go unstoppable and then use that to intercept. I'll show you in a little bit here. But yeah, Thing is bleed immune, so you can't get instant bled by Longshot. He's also nullify immune, so the fate seal does nothing on the SP2. And yeah, overall it's just a pretty good counter for this fight. So look right here, I drop the heavy attack, I take the hit with protection up, and then I go for the intercept there, and that counts as an intercept. If you take a hit while unstoppable and then you counteract, that counts as an intercept. So that's my strategy for the entire fight, is to just use that as my intercept, and it should be a pretty easy time. And it was also so much fun, man. This champion is so much fun to play with. So yeah, things are looking pretty good. We go for an SP2 here, and it gets a pretty nice 48,000 crit. So yeah, things are just looking pretty nice, man. And we keep on utilizing the unstoppable for our intercept. It is just the easiest way to play this fight. So yeah, I'm just playing it safe, and I'm just gonna go for the unstoppable intercepts pretty much. So there, I trigger protection. I just stand there now, go unstoppable, get my intercept in, and then things are just looking good, man. Now I just go full send. I'm gonna do a full 5 combo here into an SP2, and the SP2 gets a very nice 58,000 crit, man. And that wraps up my war pretty much. That was the last fight that I had to take, and we ended up winning the war too, so it's just all's good, man. So yeah, that was pretty fun. That's Thing in Alliance War, such a beast there, man. That's probably his best use in my opinion. And now let's go over some of his utility, right? So my favorite piece of his utility is the very unique stuff, and one of those things is his unstoppable removal. So when you throw a special attack, you get this passive, right? And for the next 8 seconds, you can remove all unstoppable buffs on the opponent. And this is very, very useful because there are a lot of unstoppable buffs in the game, Footloose, for example, and there's also just a lot of unstoppable champions as well. So it's just a pretty useful ability that I like to utilize a lot, and it's a very easy way to get it as well. You just need to throw a special attack. Any special attack will get you the buff, so it's just a pretty nice time overall. You can just spam SP1 to get the maximum amount of uptime on it, but honestly, you can just play regularly and you'll still have a pretty decent uptime for it as well. So yeah, it's just a pretty nice utility piece. It's definitely not his best thing. His best thing, of course, is the protection. We'll get to that later, but it's still a pretty nice piece of utility to have overall. So now I dropped the SP2, and no crits, unfortunately, but he's still doing pretty good. Yeah, this fight going pretty nicely. 14,000 medium. This is a bit inflated because of stun vulnerability, but he still does have pretty nice damage overall once he's ramped up. the ramp up is a bit demanding at times because you have to do like 2 SP1s and then ideally an SP3. Like the SP3 isn't vital, but it's still a pretty nice damage window like once you drop it. But with synergies, this guy is just a monster in the damage output department. But we'll get to that in another video because the introduction video is without any synergies at all. So like just keep that in mind. This is no synergy gameplay. Pretty nice SP2 crit there. This is also Footloose. And it just goes to show that the installable removal is just a very nice piece of utility and it's very reliable as well. Just overall a pretty nice kit, and like for being an older character, his abilities are pretty like relevant still. Now let's talk about his Nullify immunity, which is a pretty good thing to have. Of course, there's like buff immune champions now, but Nullify immunity is still pretty valuable. And he's also bleed and shock immune too, so like he has 3 very good immunities all at once. So it's just a pretty good time. Thing is like the OG king of immunities. I feel like now it's Absorbing Man, but Thing is still very useful for his immunities like a lot of the times. And he also has a protection as well. So like there's just a lot going on with this champion. Just a very solid character overall to this day, which is super awesome, man. But yeah, he just counters Ebony Maw so well because like he is Nullify immune, right? And so, like that's all you need for Ebony Maw pretty much. And also like the Buffet node, for example, like this node is Buffet. It's an Ebony Maw on Buffet. So yeah, just overall pretty easy time. Now we're going to build to the SP3, and it's like his pretty much best damage window, I feel like. Because he has like an 8-second window where like all of his Furies have like double the potency, and he also gets another Fury buff, and he also gets Unstoppable and Unblockable. So he just like goes like crazy, man. He goes absolutely crazy at the SP3. It takes a bit of while to get to because you have to do 2 SP1s first. So that's why I feel like his ramp up time is a bit too long for like battlegrounds and whatnot. But like in general content, it's viable for sure. But still, like I said, without synergies, he isn't the best attacker, I feel like. You really want the full Fantastic Four at least with this guy, or the champion synergy if you're feeling a bit risky. I will make videos on both of those synergy teams very soon, but this is the initial showcase. It's the introduction video, so I will not showcase that at all because for the introduction video, I like doing just no synergies at all. So yeah, now we have the SP3, so it's about to go into a very, very fun time. And we turn him into a burrito, which is just so funny, man. And now it's Clobber time. So yeah, 22,000 medium, of course, very awesome. Another 22,000 medium, and then a last 22,000 medium, man. So it's just super fun. He is such a beast after the SP3, but like, honestly, his damage output is fine regardless of the SP3 or not. Like, the SP2 still hits pretty hard. His basic attacks are pretty nice as well. So yeah, just overall, his damage output, I would say, is pretty above average, but like nothing too crazy. Now we have this Wolverine on Energy Adoption Shock, and you know, Thing is shock immune, so this is just like one of his ideal fights because his immunities are like his best matchups pretty much. In like Alliance War, you use him for Hazard Shift, Shock, and Bleed very often. You can use him for like just any shock lane, any bleed lane, anything like that, any Nullify lane as well because he does have immunity to Nullify. And yeah, his utility is very basic, right? Because it's just immunities and like, you know, the unstoppable removal, but it's still a pretty decent kit overall, especially like in 2023 when like there's a lot of very unique champions. He's still viable. He's still regarded as like one of the best science champions, I feel like. And it's because Battlegrounds, you don't want just an attacker, right? You want an attacker and a defender, and Thing is a very powerful defender in Battlegrounds. So like he has use there, he has use in Incursions as well, he has use in like Alliance War. That's probably his best spot in my personal opinion. He is such a good Alliance War attacker, man. He's so safe to play in Alliance War, and he's just a good general quester as well. And like he just has so many uses, man, and like literally every piece of content he's good. So that's why Thing is still like viable to this day. And that's why I think he's still a good rank 4 candidate, and why I suggest taking him to rank 4 even, I would say. So yeah, just had to get that out of the way. This fight is going pretty well. We have the SP3 now, so we're going to go into Clobber time mode, so it's going to be pretty fun. It sucks when you don't crit in Clobber time because it just like kind of ruins the fun. But there we get some crits. We get some crits going now, and now he's starting to crit a ton. That was like 4 crits in a row, and yeah, that's just like so much fun, man. The SP3, the damage output is just crazy afterwards, and it's such a blast, man. And I just want to show you the most important piece of his utility, of course, his signature ability, the Unbreakable Spirit. So she is on SP3, right? So I trigger my protection, I have 15 rock stacks with a 95% reduction, and she throws the SP3. So let's see how much damage we take. This is a 95% reduction, keep in mind, and we're about to see how much damage we take from it. So we're at 96% and we go down to 91%. We only took 5% damage from the SP3, and her SP3 hits pretty hard overall. So yeah, man, it's just a pretty awesome time. Like, his protection is just insane. Like, in incursions especially, it's so crazy, man. And also has like a lot of good uses as well. Like right here, this is encroaching stun. We're gonna get stunned, right? But it triggers our protection, so we take like 0 damage pretty much. Like, he's doing no damage to us. That's a 400 crit. Like a 400 crit in an Act 7 fight. It's just crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. So yeah, his signature ability is just very awesome overall. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Let me know your thoughts on Thing. For me, he is like one of my most favorite attackers right now. He is just so fun in Alliance War. He is so good with his protection, man. It's such a useful mechanic. And yeah, even though he's an old character, I feel like he still is very relevant in this game. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on Thing, and that's about it for me.